अस्सलाम वालेकुम। अस्सलाम वालेकुम।
मिस।
Yes, how are you?
अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह मिस।
Okay, so should we start from the same topic that we were discussing before?
यस मिस।
Okay, so we were talking about acids and alkalis, and last time we were discussing about reaction of acids with other substances. So I'm just sharing the screen. Okay. All right, so let's start to talk about. I hope that you can see the screen.
यस मिस।
Okay, so let's talk about the properties of acids once again. Just to have a quick recap. So acids have sour taste. Acid produce ions when dissolved in water. These ions allow the resulting aqueous solution to conduct electricity. Yes, so this point we didn't discuss last time that all acids are aqueous, definitely, and they produce hydrogen ion in the aqueous solution. So when they dissociate into ions in the aqueous solution, definitely the ions are able to conduct electricity. That's why all acid solutions are good conductors of electricity. So, do you know what is another name for conductors? What is another name for conductors in
मिस
liquid
कंडक्टर्स।
state? Like if you talk about a conductor in a liquid
नो मिस
state.
आई कांट।
Okay, so if we talk about the term conduction or conductors in liquid state, then the term is referred to as electrolytes. So all substances that conduct electricity in liquid or molten state or in aqueous state, they are known as electrolytes. Okay, so acid solution, alkaline solution, and you would say molten solution, molten paste of the substances like salts, they are known as electrolytes. So there are three type of electrolytes: acid solutions, acid, alkali solution because they are able to ionize into OH ions, and then we have salt solution, all type of solutions of salt or even in the molten state. So salt solution in molten, like salt paste in molten state or in aqueous form, both are the conductors of electricity. So we call them electrolytes. Is it fine?
मिस मिस इलेक्ट्रोलाइट इज ओनली फॉर aqueous solutions.
Electrolyte is a substance that is liquid in state. Like we call conductors, they are that substances that conduct electricity in solid state without changing their form. For example, we have metals and graphite. They are conductors. And got it? Metals and graphite are conductors in solid state, and after conduction, their state doesn't change. Their properties does not change. Only they because they have all like delocalized electrons inside them, so that's why they conduct electricity. Whereas electrolytes are the substances that conduct electricity because of the mobile ions. So in this case, we have acid, like we have HCl. So that HCl ionizes in water to produce H positive and then Cl negative ion. Fine. So this H positive and then Cl negative ions are responsible, like these ions are responsible for the conduction of electric current. So if I'm going to have HCl in the molecular state, in the gaseous state, okay, like if I don't dissolve HCl in water, but I'm just taking hydrogen chloride gas in the gaseous form, and then if I'm going to pass electricity through it, it is not going to it is not going to allow current to pass through it because it is in molecular form. Are you getting me?
Yes miss.
For conduction, two things are necessary. Either a substance must have electrons, mobile electrons, or delocalized electrons, just like in metals, like we have copper wire in your homes, we have electrical cables of copper and aluminum, right? And even silver wires are also there. It's very expensive, but it's still silver is the best conductor of electricity as standard in standard form. And if you talk about the electrolytes, then electrolytes are the substances that will not conduct electricity if we take them in solid state. Fine. For conduction, we must dissolve them in water, just like we have salt. Do you have common salt at home? We have all
Yes,
have
miss.
common salt at home. So if I'm going to check its conduction, then if I'm going to pass electric current in a salt, you would say, vessel, in a jar containing salt, if I'm going to add insert a wire that is conducting the electricity, and if I'm going to insert that wire in that salt like a bottle, then do you think it is going to conduct electricity? The salts like solid salt, do you think it's going to
Maybe
conduct
solid salt
electricity?
won't. No.
Yes, we have must have heard like learned in ionic bonding chapter move here and there. That's why salt is you would say salt solution or in molten state or in salt like in aqueous form. Both of the forms are going to allow electricity to conduct through them. That's why they're not known as conductors, but we call them as electrolytes. Okay.
Okay, miss.
That's the basic difference between electrolytes and conductors. So we are side by side because now you're in O3. So you must like build your concepts and you must correct your concepts as well, because these all things that I'm discussing over here, they come in MCQs, and in very narrow, you would say, boundaries. You have to answer and also omit the wrong ones. Okay, done?
Okay, miss. Miss,
Ji beta.
electrolytes do not conduct electricity in solid state, but only in liquid state.
Yes, only in liquid or molten state.
Okay,
Only
miss.
in liquid. Liquid state means if I'm just going to melt a substance without adding water into it. Just like, for example, I have NaCl. Again, I'm giving you example of sodium chloride. If I have sodium chloride at home, but we cannot definitely melt it because its melting point is 808 degrees centigrade. So somehow, if somehow I have an oven, I am going to melt it out at 808 degrees centigrade, then definitely its ions would be free to move here and there, and then definitely it is going to conduct electricity. This molten paste of sodium chloride without having water is going to conduct electricity. So it is known as electrolyte. Electrolyte. Sodium chloride
Okay,
when
miss.
conduct electricity in molten state or in aqueous form. Or definitely it is very difficult to melt this salt at room like at in home conditions or even in laboratory. It is difficult because it is having a very high melting point. So rather to melt it, what I'm going to do, I am going to add it into water, because I know this thing that hydration power of water is going to dissolve the solution, the salt into a solution, and the ions are also going to get free easily. So in the aqueous form or in the molten state, both of the cases, sodium chloride, a salt or an ionic compound, is going to conduct electricity. That's why thing is known as electrolyte. Okay. So first thing,
Okay,
electrolytes
miss.
are acids, acid solutions like hydrochloric acid, sulfuric acid, nitric, and then all the acids that we discussed last time, but they should be dissolved in water. Okay. Second thing, all type of alkalis, again, they should be soluble in water, like sodium chloride, sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide. We can have calcium hydroxide. There are limited alkalis. The other things are bases. So bases would not conduct electricity. Bases are solid and they are unable to dissociate into their ions. Fine. So insoluble bases again will not conduct electricity because their ions are not going to become free. So I hope it is clear. This concept is fine.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's move forward. Fine. Third property, acid turns blue litmus paper red. That's we discussed this point. We have already discussed it last time. So acidic substances turn blue litmus paper red, and even we can have blue solution of litmus as well. Okay, litmus is also available in the laboratory in the solution form. So either we have litmus solution or in the paper form. Both of the cases, acid will turn blue litmus red. Okay, immediately they will turn red, and the bases are substances
Okay.
that will turn bases. What color they will change?
Blue.
Yes, bases are substances that change red litmus to blue, and likewise. So fourth property, acid react with, now we are going to start the chemical properties. Acid react with reactive metals This is what we were discussing last time, and now today we are going to do it in detail. So acid plus metal, the product is salt and hydrogen gas. For example, when a piece of magnesium ribbon is added to dilute sulfuric acid, bubbles of hydrogen gas can be seen. The equation for this reaction is Mg plus H2SO4, Mg4 plus H2. Okay, so
Yes, miss.
is it balanced?
Miss, the magnesium has a 2 now.
Yes, magnesium
Mg2
is
as well.
yes, and magnesium in which group magnesium is present?
Miss, second,
Second group. So the valency of magnesium is
it
plus
will have a
2.
plus 2. Plus
It
2.
has a charge of plus 2, and the sulfate has a charge of negative 2. So the salt is balanced. The formula is correct.
Balanced.
MgSO4 is correct. Mg is plus 2, sulfate is minus 2. That's where the formula is correct. MgSO4. Fine. Very good. Now you must have realized that we must go towards the formation of salt. Okay. And now once we have like checked that the formula of salt is correct, then we must do the balancing at the back end. So magnesium reacts with sulfuric acid. 1 mole of magnesium reacts with 1 mole of sulfuric acid to produce 1 mole of magnesium sulfate, and hydrogen gas will be liberated off. Okay. Now, okay, can I ask you a question?
Yes, miss.
Now tell me, do you know what is the test for hydrogen gas? How can I test
Miss,
hydrogen gas?
I miss, I don't know the exact test, but I think it was something with
Hmm.
the matchstick
Something with
flames,
mastic. Hmm. Okay.
and we also
So,
sometimes check for the effervescence. Or
okay,
is that for something else?
you are close enough, but all the tests are getting missed. So we just wait. Okay. So at the right side, if you just see, this is a test for hydrogen gas. If hydrogen, because we have to connect everything, right? And because now we don't have time, so we have to connect different concepts at the same time, because they are going to be asked in your exam in this way. Okay, similar one after one another. We have different questions linked to a similar topic. So if they ask you that magnesium reacts with sulfuric acid to form this and this, how a student is going to identify whether hydrogen gas is present, or how do you confirm it? So there are two like words in your marking scheme. Pops in a flame. The test for hydrogen gas, shortcut test, if you just have one line answer or one word, like one mark answer, you just write pops in a flame. For hydrogen gas, the wording for in the marking scheme is pops in a flame. Pops in a flame is just written, but if you go towards a detailed test, like if it is of 2 marks, then you must write first of all test for hydrogen. This is it. We can test hydrogen gas by placing a burning splint at the mouth of the test tube. Hydrogen gas extinguishes the burning splint with a pop sound. This is a detailed test. So for the test part, you can say place a burning splint at the mouth of the test tube. Place the burning splint at the mouth of the test tube. And now shortcut, the splint will be extinguished with a pop sound. The burning splint will be extinguished with a pop sound.
Okay,
Okay?
miss.
Because hydrogen gas over here, it usually it's a flammable gas. It supports combustion. But over here, because hydrogen gas is produced in a bigger quantity, so initially the oxygen level required for burning, you would say it gets limited. So that's why it extinguishes the flame, and a pop sound. Just pop sound is a popcorn sound, just like popcorns come out when they pop up. So just that like that sound, you have that pop up sound. Okay, so the lighted splint will be extinguished with a pop up sound. And the one line answer in the marking scheme is pops in a flame. You must write it down. Pops in a flame. It's a shortcut, and it is accepted because it is written in your syllabus. For hydrogen gas, pops in a flame. Okay.
I've written it. Yes, miss. I've written it.
Okay, great. So magnesium. So now The next question, you must write it down and write the next question. Describe and explain. I'm just writing the question that come in the exam, just like that. Describe and explain what will you observe? What will you observe when magnesium is added when a piece of magnesium is added to dilute sulfuric acid?
I've written it.
Great. So, okay, these type of questions do come in the ATP part as well. These questions come in ATP as well as in your theory paper as well. And sometimes the same similar can come in your MCQs. Now you're a student, again, grown up student of O3, you must know how the exams are going to be taken. So, first observation. So, what will you, for 2 marks, how can you describe it? If magnesium is added to sulfuric acid, what will you observe?
Miss, a reaction will take place,
Reaction will
first of
take place.
all.
First of all, okay. Second,
And, and the second thing that we can observe is the hydrogen using the test.
first of all, what will happen to the piece of magnesium? Then I'm going to add it into what into like into sulfuric acid. First observation will be, as a first of all, you must know that we are going to add excess magnesium. Excess magnesium. Sorry, we are going to add piece of magnesium into sulfuric acid. So first of all, because the piece is a small chunk, is going to be a small chunk, limited size. Fine. So the first of all, when the reaction takes place, the first observation is going to be the first observation will be piece of magnesium, yeah, magnesium gets dissolved in dilute sulfuric acid and disappears. Magnesium gets dissolved in dilute sulfuric acid and gets disappeared after some time. Okay. To give a what? What do you think the solution color? You have to say three things in the observation part. First of all, how the reactions takes place. Like, will there be any effervescence or any you would say sparkling liquid coming out, flashes, etc., etc. How the solid gets disappear? Will it settle down at the bottom or it gets disappear? Two things. When we talk about solid substance like a metal, if it is in excess, then the solid must settle down at the bottom after the reaction will be finished, because it is in excess. That other thing must be limited. It gets finished up after some time, and the solid must settle down at the bottom. So this thing, but over here we're talking about a piece of magnesium. So definitely the acid must be in a greater quantity as compared to that small piece of magnesium. So when magnesium will be added, after like few seconds, you see the magnesium gets dissolved and then later on it gets disappeared completely. First of all. Second thing, the solution that is formed will be a salt solution of magnesium sulfate. And magnesium sulfate is a colorless salt, like a white in color. And when it is going to dissolve in water, the solution becomes transparent. So you would say a colorless solution will be, a colorless solution will be formed. Now tell me honestly, are you getting it? Chef Hasil. Why
Yes,
colorless
miss.
solution is
Yes,
formed?
miss.
Why it is colorless?
Miss, because magnesium, you said it is basically a white metal and it will give off no
It's a gray
color in the
metal.
solution.
It's a gray metal. But when it makes a salt with sulfate ion, it makes magnesium sulfate. Then the salt color will be white, and because it's just forming in the reaction, we're not seeing the white color. It has just formed in the reaction, so it will give you a colorless solution, because it will, once it is formed, it is going to get dissolved into the water that is present in the medium already. Fine. So to cut it short, let me give you a simple technique to remember the color changes. Listen, group 1, group 2, group 3, Group 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All the groups, especially for metals part, 1, 2, 3. Group 1 to 3 salts are always colorless. They're white in color, and when you dissolve them in water, they're always colorless. They will always make a colorless solution. Group 1 that contains sodium, potassium, lithium. Group 2 that contains calcium, magnesium, and group 3 that contains aluminum. The salts of these metals are colorless. Okay, like white in color, and then later on turn to colorless solutions. Okay,
Okay,
are you
miss.
noting it down?
Yes, miss, I am.
Because in ATP everything will be asked. Everything, every color is going to be asked, and it's getting tricky day by day. Okay. Whereas if there is a salt of a transition metal, transition metals are D block elements that are found in between the group 3 and group 2 and group 3. The middle block, that is transition metal block, contains copper, silver, gold, mercury, and the other things. So all of the transition metal compounds make colorful salts, and then you have to remember those colors. But for group 1, 2, 3, the salts are always white in color, and the solution are always colorless if they're soluble. Fine. So magnesium gets dissolved in
Yes,
dilute
miss.
sulfuric acid and disappears. A colorless solution will be formed. Third thing is liberation of hydrogen
Miss, we will
gas.
notice the bubbles of
Yes,
hydrogen.
excellent. Yes. अच्छा एक और बात. One thing more. Bubbles of a gas will be seen. In observation part, one thing more you must notice it, beta, that in observation part, you must not write down the identity of a gas. You cannot say hydrogen gas is liberated, because sometimes if the examiner is very much rigid, sometimes the C examiners are you would say they can give you leverage, and sometimes they're very strict at their concepts. So should not give identity of the gas in your observation part. Just say bubbling, fizzing. Usually for hydrogen gas, the term is fizzing. But because you're not going to show the identity of the gas, you just say bubbles of a gas coming out. Bubbles of a gas is coming out. Bubbles of gas will be seen, and bubbles of gas, before that you have to add the color. So bubbles of colorless gas will be seen.
Okay, miss.